Let me open the index. So now we will be entering into the OOPS concepts. So this is a heart. This is a main. Core Java actually. This is a main core Java. It's all about our objects actually, not this. This is a basics, and we will be dealing with only objects now onwards. Right? Just focus on the concepts. Like each and every concept is really important, and if you know this, you can able to understand easily this one. And just focus on this. This is really important, and we will discuss about these two, if possible, this one as well today. So, what is a class? So, class is nothing but which will contain some properties and from methods. Properties could be anything, data variables, member functions or data members. Data members in sense variables are functions are blocks. Blocks will come later. Constructors, that is also coming later, and everything will be contained inside of a class. So what is the use of a class actually? You can able to create an object for that class. Once you're able to create an object, you can able to get a copy of all the properties inside of an object. So you can basically call the class as a blueprint. So it's like a creation of a house design in a paper. That paper is the main thing. Let's say you wanted to build a villas, 10 villas in a row. You need to have a plan, right? So that plan is called as a class. By using that class, you can able to build n number of villas, right? That's a blueprint. Class is a blueprint. Like that, in a paper, building design is a blueprint. So by using that building design, you can able to build anything. You can able to build not anything. You can able to build n number of villas or houses. So by using the same concept, class is a blueprint, and class can contain some methods, properties, constructors, blocks, everything inside of a class. Whatever you wanted to like, you need to have a design in this class. And by using this class, you can able to create an objects, n number of objects. Object in the sense one villa in this example. If you wanted to create a multiple objects, multiple villas like that. So that's the concept. So let me create a normal class. So, and I wanted to show you one more thing. So let me open a methods. You will definitely understood now. This is a method with return type and argument. In this class, demo method is there. And open one more class. In this class, these two methods are there. I wanted to call demo method inside of this class. I wanted to call the demo method of a method with return type and argument class demo method here. From here, I wanted to call. So how can I able to call it? You can't. There is no access from one class to another class. You can able to call within the classes like this. You can able to call the sample method or else test method within the class itself. You can able to call directly. But how can you call the other classes methods? You have to create an object for this class here in the main method, and by using that object, you can able to call it. So that's the concept. You will get it now. And let me create a package first. And I would like to create a package name as oops, not a basics. Oops dot class is not class is not allowed because class is a reserved keyword. You should not able to call it. So what can I name it? That's fine. Oops is fine. Finish it. Under the oops, create a class. Class example. So I'd like to create a class. So by using otherwise, let me delete it. create a name of a sample. So sample is a class name. So if you see sample I created, public class sample. Till now we know how to create a class, but what is the purpose of a class we don't know, right? So just create a few properties. So I would like to create a few properties globally, not methods. I would like to create a properties now. Just see int id. I can able to create like this globally within the. I mean, just now till now whatever we done is within the methods we created a properties, right? Like this within the main method we created an integer variable and integers like that. Within the method only we created, and the scope of the just there is a difference. This is a local variable of a main method. You can able to call within the main method only. The sum is a local variable again. You can able to call within the add method. And if you create a variable here, if you create a variable here, this is a global variable. You can able to call within this entire class. So that's the thing. And I would like to create like this and one more variable string name, right? So instead of sample, I wanted to create it as an employee. I'm just changing the name of a class. You can able to change like this and hover on it. It will give you the option rename compilation unit to employee.java. You can able to rename it, right? So now I have a two properties and I would like to create a few more methods. So the methods are public void test method. I just wanted to have a test method. In this, just a system.out.println test method called, right? And you have to observe one more difference. Till here, we have created a methods with the static keyword, and now we are creating a non-static. I mean, if you're not keeping a static, that becomes a non-static. That's a difference between static and non-static. I'm just creating a methods of a non-static. We will see the difference of static and non-static as well here. And till that point of time, uh, just need to create a non-static methods, and there is a there is a two properties and there is a one method I created in the employee class. So I'm going to create a one more class. I would like to call these properties from that class. How can we do that? Let's see. Employee main example. So I just named it like this. Here you need to have a main method. So this is a class you need to execute, and you need to use a employee methods properties from this class. How can you do that? Let's see. How can we do that? So there's a variable values also for the first time. Sorry. So initialize the values also. So ID and name you created globally, and you are initialize the values also. And in the main method, I would like to create an object of the particular class, employee class. How can we do that? So what is the syntax of an object? Which we already seen it in a arrays. We didn't see it in a classes, right? So let's, okay. Sorry, you're saying something?
Object syntax or class name.
Right. We will discuss that. So how can we create a employee object? So then only we can able to call the test method from this class. You cannot able to call the test method, right? Test is not there. So you cannot able to call it. So how can you able to call the test method? By using the object of an employee. So how can you get the employee object? You need to have some syntax. You need to follow some syntax to create an employee object. So what is the syntax of it? Class name, object name. This is identifier equals to new is a keyword which we need to use to create an object, new object for a particular class, and class name again. So this is the syntax of any class of object to create for any class. So let's follow the same thing and replace with the actual values. Class name. I would like to create a object for an employee class. Let's create an employee class. Replace with the class name as an employee, and obj. I mean obj name, object name. You can give anything. So I'd like to give obj equals to new. Again a class name employee. Same class name you have to use, and bracket semicolon. Now this is the syntax of an object creation for any class. You can replace with any class, so that will create an object for that particular class. Now employee class is used, so employee object is created. The name is obj, and you just need to remember all the objects will be stored. There is a memory area in a Java, the heap, heap, heap. So every object, when whatever the object you created in our programs, every object will be stored in a heap only. Just remember heap. The storage location of objects will be heap. And by using obj now, obj dot, you have to call by obj dot. Obj dot, there is now it is coming. ID, name, test method, and remain. I mean, lot of methods are coming, right? Equals get class, hash code, notify. These are all coming from where? We don't know what is this methods also, but it is coming from where? You can able to see from where it is coming. Here in the right side, ID is coming from employee, name is coming from employee, and equals is coming from object. And here test is coming from employee. Apart from these three properties, ID, name, and test, all other properties are coming from object only. You can see. So this is a inheritance concept that we will discuss later, right? Now, object.id. You can read the property object.id, and you can able to save it in some integer. You can able to save it in some integer, and you can able to print it. The same way, read the name as well, obj.name, left side, it automatically created name. Right? So ID and name is getting from a obj object, and you can able to call obj dot test method. You can able to call it. You no need to, I mean, it's a void type. You no need to have any return type or nothing. It's a void. So now execute this class. So let's see what will happen. You can able to see ID is a 10, name is a Java, and test method is called. This is how you can able to call the other class properties from a different class by using an object. Understood? Everyone?
Yes.
Right. So, so this is how you can able to use an object, and the purpose of an object is something different. What we discussed is something different, and purpose of an object is something different. But usage of an object we discussed. Usage. This is how you will use this is how you will use an object of any class to call the other methods, right? But the purpose of an object is something different, little different. So that is, let's say, I would like to show you in a paint actually first. In a paint, so you created a class that's called an employee. And you created a few objects as well. 3 objects you created. Let's say you can able to create n number of objects, right? That's a rule actually. And now this has the properties of ID, name, country. So name of a class is employee, right? So name of a class is employee, and you created a 3 objects for the particular employee. Here I initialize the values as well inside of a class, but that's not a normal way to do. For your understanding purpose, I just initialize the values also, right? See, in a design paper, in a villas, in a house construction, in a design paper, you no need to initialize the values. You need to have a design. That's a kind of a design which will contains, okay, this is a one room, and this is a one room, and this is a one room. And you can able to give the percentage wise, okay, this is a double of it, this is a quarter of it, like that. But in actual villas, you can able to implement, let's say, 100%. If you give the 100% fitment, it will come. If you come at 200% fitment, it will come a double size of a villa. You can able to give the values while constructing. You no need to define in the design phase itself, right? The same way you can able to have same thing, same rule actually. ID and name country is there, right? So you no need to define. You no need to define. Let's say test method as well. Three variables and one method. You no need to define the property values at the time of a class creation. That's not required. That's the actual use of a object actually. I will tell you why we will not require to initialize the values at the time of class creation. So class, when in object, whenever you created an object, it will create a copy. Basically it will create a copy of all the properties. ID will come here, name, country, same thing, ID, name, country, ID, name, country. Also test method as well. Test will be stored in some different location, but methods are leave it. So for these 3 properties, there is a copies are created. Whenever you created an object, it will take all the non-static variables, only non-static variables. You can able to create static variables as well. If you create a, I'll just remove this after that. If you create like this, the country is a static. These two are the non-static, right? So let's assume country is a static, right? Now use a eraser, move the country. So country will not come as a part of a copy. Only non-static variables will come as a copy, right? ID and name. Country is a static. Now let's see the difference of a static and non-static here. So we have a 3 variables and we are not initialized. ID, name and country. 3 properties are there, and one of the properties is a static, right? Now, whenever you create an object for this particular class, ID and name are the 2 non-static variables, right? These 2 come as a copy. You will get it why the copy is required. Why the copy, the meaning of a copy and why it is required, we will get it now. So we created a 3 properties and 3 objects. In each 3 objects, it created a copy of ID and name, ID and name, ID and name. It has a separate storage. You can maintain a separate values over the objects. So that's what the purpose of a object actually. So now come to the main method of it. So remove everything. Obj1 and I would like to initialize the values here for only obj1. obj1 dot id equals to, if you wanted to initialize, you have to keep it in the left side. If you want to read the values, you have to keep it in the right side. That's it. obj1 dot id equals to 10. obj1 dot name equals to Mahesh, and this is about object 1. Now I would like to create an employee 2, obj2. By using obj2, I would like to initialize the values of id is a 20, obj2 dot name equals to Suresh, right? These two objects are created. I would like to create one more. So let's see the difference. Employee obj3 equals to new, right? Now by using obj3 dot id equals to 30, obj3 dot name equals to Ganesh. Okay, three objects are created, and in the, as I said, whenever you create an object, it will create a copy. It will be creating a copy inside of a heap, right? Three objects are created, three copies are created. Basically, it contains three different storages for id name, id name, id name. So whenever you create a copy, you can able to have a different storages, right? In each storage, you can able to maintain a different values. So for object one, I created id as a 10, name as a Mahesh, 20 Suresh, 30 Ganesh, like that. Now if you wanted to print obj1 dot id, obj1 dot name, the same way obj2 dot id, obj2 dot name. obj3 dot name. I'm just reading the values from each object. Let's see whether it is maintaining a three different storages or not. Let's see. If you can able to see, it is maintaining a three different values for each object. ID is different for all the objects, and name is also different for all the objects. It is maintaining different values. So this is the purpose of an object. This is the purpose of an object. It can hold a different values over the objects. So now we can able to, we will talk about one scenario. So whenever you wanted to make a account in a Facebook, let's see, whenever you wanted to create whenever you wanted to sign up with this Facebook, so you need to enter some details like name, phone number, mail ID. Let's say name, phone number, mail ID, and age, date of birth. So these five are the properties you need to fill and submit. Sign up. It will create an account. So how internally it is going? How these five details are going into the database? So first of all, you have a class. You need to have a class like a user. User is a class which contains these five properties: name, phone number, mail ID, age, date of birth. And whenever you enter these five details, right, all the five details will come from a UI to backend Java. So there it will set, there they will create one object. First of all, there they will create one object, and they will set the properties like this. So however we set the properties, right, like ID is 20, name is 20, name is Mahesh, like that. So they will also use the same thing. They will also set the properties like name is this, email ID is this, phone number is this, age is this, date of birth is this. So they will set all the properties, and that object is, they will create the object, one object, and they will send that object to the database layer, and they will use to insert the data into the database. This is how they use. And what is the use of an object now? It can create a one replica, one copy of a particular person, and it hold a separate values, only that person values in that object, and it can able to save it. So this is a use of an object. And one more user wants to sign up in the same time, it will create a same another object and contains a different values of him, and store the object inside of a database. So this is how objects will be working. And now, do you need some time, or else we will discuss the static and non-static today itself? So this is little confusing, static and non-static. So I don't want to confuse you guys today itself. So tomorrow, if you guys practice this today, and we can able to see the static and non-static difference tomorrow. I never included country property here, right? I never included the country property. but country property is there. This is a static, but how it will be, I mean, how it is different from a non-static, we will see tomorrow. I don't want to touch this today. I just want, I mean, ignore about static itself. Let's remove this. Only ID and name. Just remember like this. And we have ID and name. Both are non-static. And we can able to create an object for this, for 3 objects. And we can able to set the values for each object. And we can able to see the values from each object. And if you remember, I mean, if you see, we are getting the properties of another class from here. You can able to get the property. I mean, you can able to set the property and you can able to get the property as well. Sorry, get the properties here. Set the property and get the property of another class by doing what? By using obj, object. Basically, without object, you cannot have an access of a other class properties, right? So that's a thing for today. I hope everyone understood, right? Do you have any questions? You can able to shoot me now. Anybody, please clarify your doubt itself.
So please once goes to that employee method,
Right.
sir.
Right.
Here variables we can declare in test method, sir. What happened then?
If you declare the variable inside of a test method, let's say int I equals to 10, it will be accessible within the 10, I mean, within the test method only. You cannot put ID.
There we can call it by test method only, sir.
Yeah. So let's see. I wanted to put I inside of the scope of I will be test method only, inside of a test only. Whatever is before bracket, so that's a scope, right? Now by using any object, each object can contain access to the test method, right? Each object can have an access to the test method because that object have a test method. So by using test, by using obj1, you can able to call it. Let's run it. Here you can able to test method is called and the value is written, right? And just
Okay, sir.
and remove this as well, right? Somebody is asked some question. Put ID place ID1. What will happen? You can put anything, and you have to maintain the same name everywhere. So that's your choice. That's not I mean, hard coded anywhere, but that's your choice. These are identifiers, right? ID name, this method name. That's your choice. If you wanted to create anything, you can keep it. But the same thing you have to use it in here. So all the errors are coming now. ID is not found. So ID cannot be resolved to a field. So you have to have an ID or else you have to use this, right? So yeah, that's a identifier only. You can able to use any name. Any other doubt? Everyone understood, right? So till now we have seen within the class only, but we are just seeing another class. I mean, we just include another class and retrieving and setting the properties of our one class into the another class, second class. So this is how you will do. So this is what the difference you feel today. But just practice like this, creating an object and everything, and you will be get familiar with this. And tomorrow there is a tricky concept, actually, little tricky, not more than. So we will discuss that tomorrow. Static and non-static. That we will discuss tomorrow. Okay. Okay. Thanks for joining. If you don't have any doubts, we can wind up the call.
Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.